Hello everyone and welcome to another match preview on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for this evening. Liverpool were unable to play domestic football over the weekend due to Storm Dara, but the Reds are in sunny Spain now to face Girona in this Matchday 6 encounter in the Champions League. So let's discuss the form of both teams, present the team news, and we'll also do a tactical breakdown of how both teams will set up in our predicted lineups. In terms of team form, let's start with the home team. Girona are currently 9th in La Liga with 6 wins, 4 draws and 6 defeats. So a mixed season for Michel's team there. The last 5 games, they managed 3 wins on the bounce, a draw, but then they got smashed by Real Madrid 3-0 over the weekend. So they've been hit with a body shot that could impact how they perform in this fixture. In terms of the Champions League, it hasn't been a great opening campaign for the Spanish team. They are currently 30th in the table with only 1 win and 4 defeats. They've really struggled this season and have not been able to replicate their amazing form from last season, but that also might be due to the fact that they sold a lot of their key players in the summer. So this is a new team that is trying to gel and understand the new tactics under their coach. Liverpool, on the other hand, have been sensational in the Champions League so far. The perfect start, 5 wins out of 5, 12 goals scored and only 1 conceded, which was against AC Milan. So it's going to take one hell of a performance from Girona to derail the mighty Reds. So let's move on and present the team news and see who's available for this fixture. For Girona, unfortunately, their main striker, Miovski, has picked up an ankle injury, so he's expected to miss this fixture tomorrow evening. Victor Sigonkov is unavailable due to his injury, but Jean Solis should be available after recovering from a sprain, so he should be in contention to take part in this fixture. With regards to Liverpool, just when you thought McAllister would be available for this fixture after being suspended in the Premier League, well, he's actually also suspended for the Champions League after picking up a volume of yellow cards in the competition. Federico Chiesa was expected to be in the squad, but unfortunately this may not be the case as he's struggling with illness. Jota seems to have returned to full fitness, but he's not been selected for the squad. But Alisson makes his return to first team action and he is available from the matchday squad. Tsimikas is still out with an ankle injury. Kanate and Conor Bradley remain sidelined for a further few weeks. So let's present the predicted lineups and we'll start with the home team. There we go. So there will be some familiar names from players that have played in the Premier League and all that sort of stuff. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, and it is Gazzaniga, who is a former Southampton and Tottenham goalkeeper. So he is their first choice. So let's put him in the team. There we go. And in right back, they have Martinez, who's just made his return from injury, so he will be available for this fixture. So let's see if we're able to find him. There is Arnaud Martinez, and alongside him will be Lopez, David Lopez, that is, and then it is Gretzky. Now, I'm not sure if any of us Liverpool fans remember him. I certainly do. He was a player that played for Sparta Praha last season, who obviously, we faced in the Europa League. So we played him a couple of times. Left-footed player, played at left back in the back three, from what I remember as well. So a left-sided centre back who can play left back. So he was an interesting profile. So he was a summer signing. So he is one of their starters in the defense. And alongside him at left back is Gutierrez. Miguel Gutierrez, there he is. So that is the back four. Now in terms of the double pivot is Martin. If I can, Ivan Martin, there you go. And then it is Romelu, who I'm sure we all remember, former Chelsea and Southampton midfielder. They're obviously, and a former Barcelona player as well. Asprilla, and from what I know, he's not related to the Asprilla from Newcastle, the Colombian striker. So no relation. The world of Colombia, obviously, but no relation from what I'm aware. So he is a right winger in this team. And in the number 10 position, a name we're all familiar with, but hasn't really played much games over the years, is Van der Beek. So he seems to have found a new home in Spain, playing as the number 10 in this team. And on the left side is a former Spurs player, Brian Gill. There he is. So a player that can play on the right wing or left wing, left-footed player. Had a good spell for Sevilla not so long ago, but he just wasn't really suited for the Premier League. He's too lightweight. So no surprise that he's gone back to plying his trade in Spain. Now the striker role is definitely a debatable one because their main striker, Mitrovic, is not available. He picked up an ankle injury recently. So there is, the obvious option that a lot of people are predicting is Stuani. Stuani is a 38-year-old Uruguayan striker. So I'm not just saying because of his age that he's old, but he could be an option. But if I was Michel, I would go for a different option, and I would go for Danjuma as the player up top. Now, generally plays on the left wing, but I have seen him playing central roles for Villarreal. I even did it at Everton when required. So for me, he can definitely play that role. As you can see, even says that he's a striker / left midfielder. So for me, this would be the game to play Danjuma, who can definitely exploit gaps in terms of playing on the line, in terms of the shoulder. Because if you've got Stuani is a big, powerful striker. He's not really there that's going to outpace anyone. He's going to hold up the ball and lay it off to the wide players or the number 10, which is Van der Beek in this situation. I think if you have Danjuma, you've got a player that can do that, but can also add another layer to the game. He can run on the shoulders. He can attack the channels. So if I was Michel, I would play him up top. Whether he does remains to be seen. So this could be just a hot take from my part, and it might just be something that doesn't happen. But this is my predicted lineup. The striker role is definitely up for debate, but I think the rest of the team is pretty much as expected to start in this game. So feel free to let me know what you think of the lineup. Do you fear any of the players? Are we quite confident? Do you think we should rotate quite heavy because of the number of games that are coming up? Well, I'll present you my lineup very shortly, and then you guys can let me know what you think in the chat. But in terms of the players here, Danjuma is the one that we have to look out for. Van der Beek obviously had a very underwhelming spell at Manchester United, but if he's able to discover any of his form from his Ajax days, then there's a player that could be dangerous. Brian Gill, attack-minded winger, I don't think we'll have any issues with him. I think whoever plays right back will be able to handle him. And Asprilla, from what I've heard, he's a bit of a tricky player on the right wing, so definitely one to look out for. So that is my predicted lineup for the home team. So now it's time to present the graphic for the away team, which is our Liverpool. So, as I mentioned earlier on, in terms of the team news, Alisson is available for this fixture. He's in the squad. So does that mean he starts this game, or does Kelleher get another game and then Alisson returns to the lineup from this weekend onwards? Me personally, I would bring Alisson back into the team, and my reason is I feel like he needs to find his rhythm. If he's not fully fit, I don't think he would be put into consideration. So he should be 100% ready to go. So I feel like it's probably a good game to kind of get him to find his rhythm again, I guess. I know that's more of a outfield player thing. You try and regain your form, but even a goalkeeper kind of needs that as well a little bit. So I think this would be a good opposition, an opposition that, not to sound like, I don't have a strong mentality, but even if we win, lose, or draw in this one, it's not a game that has a huge impact in terms of our Champions League campaign, because we've got 5 wins out of 5, and we've pretty much secured qualification, in my opinion. So this would be a game where there's no huge pressure, and he can just slowly embed himself. So for me, I would go for Alisson, and also, not saying this is the reason why I've selected him. The mistake from Keller as well could play a part for Arne Slot to select Alisson and reinstate him back into the team. So just putting it out there. There's no reason why I'm not selecting Kelleher, but I do feel like it could have a role to play in terms of Arne Slot's selection. So I believe Alisson will start in this fixture. Now, in terms of right back, we don't have too many options. We've got Joe Gomez, we've got Trent. Now, obviously, Conor Bradley's out, Konate's out. So those two players kind of just put themselves on the team. So Trent will be at right back. I don't want to see Kwanzaa in that position. For me, it's not his strong point at all. And we lack an outlet from that right-hand side. So that's not the selection that I want to see again. And it would be Joe Gomez in the centre-back position alongside Virgil van Dijk. And Tsimikas, unfortunately, still unavailable, so Robertson will have to remain in the team. He's done not too bad too fair in recent weeks, but I feel like these were the games that you try and rotate your squad, so there's no any chance of picking up any sort of injuries or players, getting fatigued and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite important to try and mix it about and then rotate. So, but due to the couple of injuries we've picked up with Konate and Bradley, we have to kind of fill what we have available. So that is a strong backline for me. Now, in terms of the midfield, I don't really know what everyone's thinking with regards to team selection. For me, I would rotate the squad a little bit in this one. As I mentioned earlier on, McAllister is suspended for the Champions League as well, not just Premier League. He's suspended in the Champions League for this fixture, so he's not available for selection. For me, I would go with Endo in the lineup. I personally think he should have played in our last game against Newcastle, where we needed a destroyer in the lineup. That never occurred. So I feel like this is a game where, it would be good to give him some minutes, get him a bit more match ready. So if we do need him in other fixtures, he's got some minutes under his belt. So I will play Endo in his fixture, and his partner alongside him, Curtis Jones. I know that's going to be a bit of a concerning selection because they haven't really played together. And will it work in terms of the balance in the team? I think it will. Endo will be the deep midfielder where he shuts up shop and is pretty much the destroyer in our team. And also with Van der Beek being number 10, Endo will have a responsibility to man mark him and make sure he doesn't have any influence in the team. So that will be his sole responsibility, as well as covering the fullbacks when they make marauding runs, or add a further protection to the two centre backs there. And Curtis Jones, not too forward thinking. He'll be more of a deep playmaker, but shifting a bit more to the left and can be a bit more further up in transitions. But I wouldn't, advise him for him to go too further up unless we are able to really control the game. And in that case, you just have Endo in a single pivot, and then Jones, playing in this kind of role here alongside whoever starts in the number 10 position. So for me, that would be the two players that I would start in the double pivot. If Chiesa was available, I actually would have started him in this game as well, but he's out due to illness. So Salah will, for me, play in this fixture, but I wouldn't play him the whole game. I think it would be an hour that he plays and then rest him because he doesn't need to be overused at this stage of the season. Through the middle, I'm going to bring back Harvey Elliott. He hasn't had any minutes under his belt. Well, tell lie, he did come on briefly in the not the Newcastle fixture, the fixture before. Came on for about 5 minutes, which wasn't really much use, but he still made an appearance, I guess. So for me, this would be a good game for him to come in and try and find his flow again, find a bit of rhythm in his game, because we will need him, whether he starts or not. I feel like he needs some minutes under his belt. He needs to find that form that really impressed us, especially in pre-season. So I think this would be a good game to introduce him and give him a starting position. So Elliott in that number 10 role. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go for Cody Gakpo. Now, up top, who starts in this game? So originally, probably would have gone for Darwin Núñez, but I've not been impressed with his recent form. And also because of the news that we've got Diogo Jota coming in, I think this would be a good game to play Diaz through the middle. And if we need Darwin Núñez, then he can come off the bench. But I will say out loud, I think Darwin Núñez needs to be more of a bench player going forward now. I don't really trust him as a starter in the team. I don't feel like he's prolific enough. I feel like Diaz, it's not his strong point, but he's really flourished playing in that number 9/false 9 or that central role. And he's basically added as another option. I also believe someone like Chiesa could play that central role ahead of Darwin Núñez. Gakpo can play that role as well. So we've got quite a few options that can play through the middle. For me, he wouldn't be the first name on the team sheet. So for this fixture, I'm going for Luis Diaz. But I do expect Darwin Núñez to take part in this game. So maybe come off the bench for the last half an hour. But in the starting lineup, I believe Luis Diaz will lead the line. So that is my starting lineup for tomorrow's fixture against Girona. It's a bit earlier than normal. It's at 5:45, I believe it is, at UK time. So, yeah, definitely earlier than usual. So this will be my lineup. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. Have I gone a bit too outside the box, or does my selection have a bit of justification due to the number of games coming up? Obviously, the big factor is that we didn't play over the weekend, so maybe Armstrong would go for a stronger lineup. I just feel like it's a bit unnecessary. We need to focus on the Premier League more so, in my opinion. We've pretty much secured Champions League qualification. We've got a tough game against Fulham, who have been in great form in the league so far. So I would rather rest a few players and then have a stronger team for this week's fixture in the Premier League. So that is my lineup. Feel free to let me know what you think. Before we close the show, I'm just going to go through some of the comments. Football with Ens says, big up, bro. Big up yourself, Ens. Thank you for your comment and thank you for tuning in. Daz also says, big up Ozzie and big up Ens. Big up yourself, Daz. Thank you for tuning in as well. Daz is predicted lineup here, so let's see what he's gone for. He's gone for Kelleher. He's gone for Trent, Virgil, Kwanzaa, Robbo, Ryan, Dominic Szoboszlai, Harvey Elliott, Mo, Cody, Diaz. So slightly different to my lineup, but regardless, there's still some names that match. And then Ashik Bihari, big up yourself. Ashik, he says hi. Elliott for Southampton. And then he's also said Darwin, which is fair enough. Double D says rest Mo. I wanted to rest Mo in this fixture, but then I'm thinking who would go. Maybe Diaz on the right and then Darwin Núñez up top. That would make sense as well. I wouldn't be mad at that session. I think that would be the right call. Yeah, no, I do get your point. I would probably just say Mo plays for like an hour, and then we bring Darwin Núñez on, and then we can switch it around going forward. So, or it could be where we place Harvey Elliott on the right wing and then have Dominic Szoboszlai through the middle. So definitely options there. I just feel like the player that needs to be rested the most is Gravenberch. He's been, I know Mohamed Salah played every game as well practically, but I feel like you can tell with his recent performances, he just looks really tired, looks a little bit jaded. So I feel like it needs to be, you know, common sense is to come into this, and we have to rotate him. This is not a very important fixture. The opposition, respectively, are not at the highest level. So I do feel like this team that I presented should have enough to get the win. But yeah, we'll see what Team Arsenal puts out tomorrow. And that says big up to Double D. And it says, where could we pressure them, Ozzie? So in terms of their lineup, we can definitely target their centre back Grechki because we've played against him before. He's a player that is left-footed, very comfortable on the ball, but at the same time, if you put pressure on him, definitely be exploited. So that's going to be interesting. In terms of the fullbacks, I'm not seeing too much of them in action. So I don't know if they're very attack-minded or not. But I feel like from a Liverpool point of view, our attackers need to be on top of the game. So whoever starts on the right wing or the left wing, they really need to make their presence known. I feel like if Harvey Elliott starts this game, I feel like this would really suit his skill set. You know, playing against the Spanish opposition who are going to play very technical football, it might just suit his game where it's not going to be as frantic or as fast as it normally is in the Premier League. It suits Harvey Elliott's game. So I feel like he could definitely exploit the central positions, and you know he can definitely shoot from distance. He has that in his locker. Just look at the goal that he scored against Palace in recent months. He definitely has the ability to drive the ball and shoot from distance. So for me, Harvey Elliott could definitely be an important figure in this fixture and try and get something out of the game. But yeah, I think we can definitely pressure him on the wings. But I feel like Harvey Elliott could play a role in terms of applying that pressure in the middle of the park. You've got Omu as well, who's defensive midfielder, but he's not the quickest. So that's an area where they've got double pivot, but they're not agile when it comes to playing against a team on the high press like Liverpool. So counter pressing, we got to definitely utilize that. Make sure we're attacking them whenever we can, and we're probably one of the best teams when it comes to counter pressing in Europe. So yeah, I don't fear this team. If I'm being honest with you, they do have some players that have and possess some quality traits, but not enough for me to lose any sleep or feel like we won't get the win. I feel like this will be a comfortable win to an extent. I think it will be a professional performance from Liverpool, and at this stage, that's what you need. So that's what I would want to see going forward. Double D says Grav defo needs the rest. Yeah, he looks really tired against Newcastle. So I feel like Endo might as well get a bit of a run out. No harm in playing him in this fixture, but I don't know. Arne Slot just does not like Endo whatsoever. He's not his cup of tea, so he might just go for someone. He might even go for Morton instead. Who knows? But what I do know is I do believe Gravenberch is in need of a rest. So whether it's Endo or Morton, I don't really care. I feel like it just needs to be where Gravenberch is out of the firing line. If we need him, he can come off the bench because I do believe he's selected in the squad. Like he shouldn't be starting this fixture, and that's just my thoughts with regards to that. Abdul says Assalamu alaikum. How you all doing? Wa alaikum assalam to you, Abdul. All doing great. Thank you, Abdul. I hope you are doing good as well. He says you never walk on many friends. So big up yourself, Abdul, for your comment, and thank you for tuning in. So in terms of my score prediction, as I mentioned, I think it will be a professional performance from the Reds, and I think we'll definitely seal the deal and get the victory. So I think Liverpool will win 2-0. And in terms of my prediction of goal scorers, I'm going to go for Harvey Elliott and Cody Gakpo. So that is my prediction. And that is the end of the match preview. So thank you so much for tuning, everyone. Thank you to Football with Ends. Thank you to Daz. Thank you to Ashik. Thank you to Double D. And thank you to Abdul. Appreciate your comments as always, guys. If you haven't already and you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In terms of upcoming content, I'll be doing a live watch along of this fixture tomorrow. It's a bit earlier than normal. The game takes place, I believe it's 5:45, but I'm just going to double check. Let's have a look. Yes, it is. So it's 5:45. So I will be going live from around 5:30. So make sure to tune in and we can discuss the lineups together. Let's see if I got anything right here. And yeah, we can just discuss. I'm sure there might be some news relating contract extensions. So even if you want to just come and have a discussion about Liverpool related stuff or football in general, feel free to come join the show from 5:30, and then we'll do the live watch along. And then following the match, we'll also do a match reaction show. Possibly do it a bit later. So I'll do it at 11 p.m. UK time. So we'll be able to watch the other games, if there's anything worth watching. And then after the games have concluded in match day 6, until Tuesday night, we can do a match reaction show at 11 p.m. And it's a calling show. So if you'd like to come on and have your say, a link will be available. So the floor is yours. Feel free to come on and have your say. So yes, that is in terms of tomorrow. And then Thursday, I'll be doing a match preview of Liverpool versus Fulham. And that fixture is also on Saturday. It's a 3 p.m. fixture. So try and do a watch along for that if I can. So yeah, lots of content coming your way, guys. So big up to yourselves. Before we close the show, I see a couple of comments there from Daz. Daz is going for a 3-0 victory, and he's predicting Mohamed Salah, Darwin Núñez, and Van Dijk to get the goal there, and he's also just confirmed 5:45 kickoff. So yeah, big up yourself, Daz. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.